What's up, y'all? You're watching Union Minded. I'm your host, Eric Union Minded Pacheco. I am running for president of IBEW Local Union number 26. If you haven't mailed your ballot in yet, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Mail your ballot in. It's important. Partake in your union. Let's get that out of the way. I want to talk to you about systemic problems. These are problems that have developed over a long course of time, and they've created a system, and the system runs machine-like. Never much change in the system. You see it every day. You see it every day in your government. You see it every day. Systemic problems. Now I'm going to hone in and we're going to talk about within the labor movement. I got a question for union members. How many of you would volunteer for a action if you were asked by your union to volunteer for an action? Don't know what the action is. Maybe it's picketing a job. Maybe it is going to meet with a politician and ask questions about your community. Maybe it's showing up at a supervisory meeting. Whatever the case may be. How many of you would have the attitude like, nah, I'm good, y'all do you, if you were asked? In my experience organizing, I have found that whenever I personally ask for help from someone, it's a good 95% ratio that they say, yeah, I want to help out. And so the question I have is, if that's the case, because I'm always told that the rank and file doesn't care, that they're here for a paycheck. These are the things that I hear. But if you're one of those 95%ers that I've experienced, if you're one of those that would help, then I got to ask, why isn't the labor movement more ingrained in our communities? And then I got to also ask, how many of you that are in unions, that went through a union apprenticeship, came out of your apprenticeship with an understanding of the labor movement historically and what your role is within the labor movement currently and moving forward? How many of you would say that you came out of training with a good understanding of that? I would contend that the number is pretty high of folks that don't have a good understanding of that. And so these are problems that are systemic, because it wasn't always this way. At the height of the labor movement, when it was most powerful, the rank and file was not only educated because they were boots down in the fight, but they were informed well also. So they knew what the issues were that they were facing, and they were coordinated, and they worked together towards goals. And they got a lot accomplished. We just enjoyed a weekend. That is because of the labor movement. Make no mistake. It's because of a labor movement that was educated, informed, active. And so the question that I keep asking myself is, well, why are things the way they are? Why is it that you find members more loyal to a contractor than they are to their local union? Why do you find these things? Why do you find members that are disgruntled, that are willing to throw their ballot away because they don't feel like their vote matters, like nothing's going to change, like they don't have a hope, like they're hopeless? In a labor union, you should never feel hopeless. I mean, it's the heart of the fight for workers' rights. You should never feel hopeless. Not in a labor union. I could understand if you were working at Amazon and things were looking bleak. I could then understand the feeling of hopelessness, but in a labor union? So it got me to contemplate and got me thinking. It's like, these are the systemic issues that I'm trying to address. And there are more than just these, but I'm just saying, like, this isn't a new problem. This is a problem that's 50 years in the making. This is a problem that's old, and it doesn't seem like there's any movement towards solving these problems. And that's why I go as hard as I do. That's why I criticize the system as I do. And unfortunately, people get in their feelings when you start talking about systemic problems. They feel like it's a personal affront or it's a personal attack, when nothing could be further from the truth. It's not a personal attack. There's a system in place, and that system is successful at producing electricians and at producing workers. Where it fails is at producing a labor movement that fights vigorously for those workers. And so it becomes very corporatesque, business-like, and it loses that stance of we gotta hold the line to advance working conditions and all the other things that come along with it. And it's just, like I said, it's systemic problems. And my campaign is a campaign to address the systemic problems that we all face. And many of us want to change but don't know how. I think we have a chance here to send a message that says we want to change things. We want to return to our roots. And so we'll see, right? It's up to you guys. You're the ones that have to vote. You're the ones that have to pick. And we all have to live with the results and work with it and work together, because this labor movement requires all of us, honestly. No one gets to sit out. You don't get to take your ball and go home and cry about it. It's too important. The labor movement's too important. Anyway, my name's Eric, Union Minded Pacheco. I'm running for president of IBEW Local Union number 26. Vote for me, please. Y'all have a great day. And remember, the fight's not left and right, it's up and down. It's going to take solidarity to win always. Each one teach one. Get out there and reach one. And remember, there can be no union at all without you and I front and center. Peace.